Hello, my fellow grooved pavement highway noise. I'm Mr. Church. I've been saying for years that there's no reason for the build restrictions that we have in Fallout 76, that they're prohibitive, that they reduce our ability to make amazing camps, and Bethesda finally agrees. Now, I'm in the PTS, that's the playtest server. This is not the live game, but it is a sneak peek of an update that is going to come to the live game eventually. This is probably coming sometime this fall. Anyway, in the PTS, we have a completely overhauled camp building system, and that has a new UI, so everything is actually easy to find for once. Well, a little easier, I'll say. And there's also relaxed building restrictions that you would find in a custom world. This is actually a combination of two amazing things, because I have not even wanted to build for a long time, just because I can't find anything I own in the fucking camp build menu. But now I actually can. I'm not gonna lie, they kind of ate with this, and they left about 12 crumbs, I'll say. I think they left about 12 crumbs, if I'm gonna count them one by one. This is obviously the PTS, and that means that's the reason and excuse that we'll give them for having some bugs in this iteration of the new UI. But when it goes live, of course, all those bugs will be magically fixed, even though when we put them in the bug reports, they don't even look and read that stuff. So obviously, you can see the layout is much more compact, and by adding the sub menus that I've actually been saying they should do for a long time, then it's a lot easier to find stuff. They also have the visual box over here, so you can actually hover and see all the different variants of something without having to tab through them one by one. A lot of building games like The Sims have this, and it's really nice because you can see at a glance kind of what your options are without having to look through them all and remember something that you saw 5 hours ago. Oh, I'll go back and look at that one again. Do I like this one or do I like that one? It makes building a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot more streamlined. You can zip up and down through these subcategories by pressing a certain button. That'll be different, of course, with a controller. And then you can look through this tab. There's an option to, I think, minimize the side tab, but right now they said it's a known bug that's actually not working very well or functioning correctly. Now, not to shoot my own corn, but I have been saying that they should put, garden stuff together and outdoor stuff together and structures together, and they have done that. They have finally, I'm not going to say they listened, because I think what happened was they arrived at a logical conclusion eventually after 6 years, rather than listening to the feedback of someone that has spent 9,000 hours playing, because why would you bother wasting your time doing that? Now, there is, as you may have noticed by now, still not a search bar. So that is going to be something that they might add. I'm just saying that. They haven't said that. What I'm saying is that is the most requested thing that I've seen. And I was seeing people request that even over having them reorganize the menu, which is what I wanted them to do. It's not as helpful for someone with a controller to have a search bar, especially when you don't know what stuff is called. But if they add that, it will make finding stuff in the build menu a lot easier. Maybe, hopefully, they will do that eventually. Now, there are some things that I want to point out, even though the free building, for the most part, is the exact same thing you would find in a custom world. So you can toggle collide, snap, or free place. So you can still snap stuff that would snap together normally if you want to, or you can shut that option off and just place it wherever you want. It's really nice. There are some things that are, a little bit different still, and maybe they're still a little buggy because this is a new feature and the new UI and everything. One thing, you cannot place stuff that needs to go in the water anywhere except for in the water still, even with free placement. And a lot of the newer stuff they added in the item shop lately has been only placeable in water. So I don't know if that's something that'll change, and they just haven't thought about it, or if this is an intentional choice. But also stuff that has to be planted, like crops, still have to go in dirt and things like that. There are workarounds that we'll find, of course, but for now, everything is going to be so much easier. You do not need to place things on foundations anymore. You can float upper floors on the ground. You can float foundations in the sky. You can just place stairs. And the most important thing that you might not realize with all this isn't just how easy it's going to be to build now, but also how much we're going to avoid getting shit stuck in our camps, because I had to make an entire video going over all the different ways you can get stuff locked up and stuck in your camp, and this eliminates about 99% of those issues. And so that's going to be good news for everyone. As I've mentioned, it's the PTS, so there's still some buggy stuff, like some things I'm placing down, like Jolly Chimp. This thing you can't interact with. I don't think I want to, but why? Also, what the fuck am I? You know what I mean? Anyway, some stuff I can't. Like, for example, I couldn't turn this off once I turned it on. And some stuff is missing, telling you that it needs power. That's something that they actually mentioned being a known bug. Another thing that I found that I'm assuming is just a bug still, but I'm going to put it in the bug reports in the PTS so they can maybe read it one day, is that even though you can click on the replace option, there's not really, it doesn't work. You can't replace stuff. And replacing is actually a massive part of building. It's much more important and necessary when you have all the restrictions we've had. It's a tool that we utilize all the time that will be less important now that we can just place stuff wherever, but it's still a very helpful tool, especially for changing out floors and walls and stuff, to find the ones that we actually want to use once the building's done. So that is hopefully something that they'll fix immediately, because it's a very important thing. Something interesting that I noticed that doesn't have anything to do with base building is, while I was looking through all this, they gave me a bunch of temporary access to all these different things that I don't own. There is with the ammo box and scrap box an aid item box, so that tells us that Fallout First members are going to be getting a box with unlimited aid storage. This is absolutely massive, especially when you consider, the fact that people spend their nights foaming at the mouth trying to get as many leader bobbleheads as possible that they'll never even use, just for the idea of owning them. And also, all the serums you get from the raids that are just heaped up all over the floor, things like that. Aid items are very useful to have, and they're very heavy, and just being able to dump all my extra aid items will allow me to not have to use traveling pharmacy as well, and so that's going to save a lot of space for those of us who are worried about space when we're making our character build. So it's actually a really big deal, and I didn't see it in the patch notes anywhere, but it is in the camp build menu, so that's something that's going to be exciting for Fallout First members. And it's nice that even though we're spending money every month or every year in getting shafted constantly, they'll give us these nice little things every once in a while. And back to the restrictions and things like that, it still says you can't place items on top of items that are in disrepair, and it still says you can't place stuff on top of displays and scrap boxes and ammo boxes and stuff like that. But you can just take the item and then toggle it to free place mode and then float it a hair above that item, and it'll basically look like it's sitting on top of that item. And the best part is, when that item gets destroyed, it won't disappear that item because that item is not giving it support. So it's kind of nice. There's going to be a lot of interesting and cool tricks that we can do, and there's also some insane builds that I'm really excited to finally bring into adventure mode now that we have this free building that's going to be coming to the game. So I'm super excited about this. There's obviously a lot of work that needs to be done with it. It's a little janky feeling, and there are some broken things with it still. But having this, knowing that this is going to be coming to the game, I'm really excited about it. And if you guys are wanting to follow what's going on, there is a whole channel in the Bethesda Discord for the PTS. So if you want to see, what people are talking about in there and give your feedback as your own opinions and stuff like that. In my opinion, this is actually a huge W and something they should have, given us probably years ago. But I mean, better late than never. Am I right? And I know I've mentioned it a couple of times in my Atom Shop review videos, but knowing or suspecting that this update was on its way has been the main reason why I haven't been making any camp build videos the last few months. Because if you know this is coming, why would you go torture yourself, making something in adventure mode now, using all these workarounds to get around these restrictions, knowing that those restrictions are going to be lifted soon. So I'm really excited, and I've got some video camp builds ideas cooking as well. And so we'll see what happens. I hope this video helped you achieve that final climax you've been waiting for. And I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members for your support. If it wasn't for your support, I wouldn't be able to be making these videos, and I really do appreciate it. If you're interested in supporting the channel in that way, the link for that will be in the description. I also have a Discord you can join if you so choose. It's a great community, and I'll see you guys in the next video.